So for this past Juneteenth, we just witnessed our very own version of Motown 25. You want to know why? Because Kendrick Lamar's pop-up concert became the grandest, biggest, most significant moment in hip-hop history, hands down. If you upset about that, don't get mad at me, go get mad at your mama, and then go play in traffic afterwards. It was promoted as Kendrick Lamar and Friends, and the Friends did not come out to play. Shout out to DJ Head, somebody who I had not heard of until the Drake versus Kendrick beef, and now I'm becoming more of a fan. Shout out to DJ Head for bringing out Tommy the Clown, bringing out those kids out there dancing, because if you don't understand the significance of California, LA, Tommy the Clown, then my advice to you is to go out there and do your Googles. Big shout out to DJ Mustard, who had Boogie out there, an artist I've been looking at for a little while. But when Tyler the Creator came out there and the Earthquake, it was a whole different movement right there, because I never get tired of hearing that signature song, and the audience don't get tired of it either. But the highlight of DJ Mustard's set was to see him reunited with YG, and when they did BPT and they did My Nigga, it goes to show you why myself and a lot of other people call them the Dre and Snoop of their era. But the audacity of Kendrick Lamar to actually come to his own show. When you hear the Bay Area King E40 give a narration as Kendrick Lamar is rising up from the stage, I'm thinking to myself, yo, Euphoria has only been around for about 4 weeks, but the audience was singing it like the song been around for about 400 years, word for word. He even added a new verse when he says, quote, "Give Tupac ring back, I might gain a new respect." And I'm looking at Kendrick, I'm like, yo, he is looking familiar. Then I found out later on online that he's dressed like Tupac at the 1994 Source Awards with the red hoodie and the gold chain. I got a little homie that always says that Kendrick raps in hieroglyphics, and I always say to him that he has dummy ears, but I gotta admit, he's kind of right. When Kendrick Lamar is rapping or performing, there's multiple things going on that you just gotta pay attention to, or you'll learn later. He goes into singing songs like Element and DNA, and the crowd is locked in. But when he does that Negro spiritual, and I'm not talking about lift every voice and sing. All right. A song that came out in 2015, got resurrected during the 2020 pandemic. You see how everybody is spiritually awakened and proud, like a Color Purple moment when he says, "All my life I had to fight, nigga." Woo! I felt chills in my black spine. Listen, Money Trees comes on. J-Rock out there, who does the verse of his life. He's reunited with Black Hippie, Absol, they do 616 in LA. Schoolboy Q comes out there, Collard Greens, they perform. And you see Black Hippie on stage with a home team advantage. If you don't know what that feeling is, then I don't know what to tell you. The reason why it's also a Motown 25 moment. Oh, let me pause for a second. Did anybody else kind of feel like when he did King Kunta and when he did Mad City that those still might be shots to Drake? Yeah, I know those songs came out before this beef right here, but to hear him perform it, it kind of made me feel a certain type of way. Especially when I heard Swimming Pools. But I digress. But the reason why this movement was more of a Motown 25, because if you go and watch YouTube or talk to your grandparents, Motown 25 was an award show that was celebrating the past 25 years of Motown records. They had the Temptations, legendary groups, Supremes, Four Tops. But the thing that everybody remember, or the moment that went on to live forever, was Michael Jackson going out there and doing Billie Jean after performing with his brothers and introducing the world to the moonwalk. Michael was there to celebrate the past 25 years, but he was also there to tell you, this is what I'm about to take it for the next 25 years. That's what Kendrick Lamar did at the pop-up concert when Dr. Dre rises up, the captain of the West Coast, and he does Still DRE and California Love, and he pauses Dre to say, "Don't you got something to say?" And then Dre does into his baritone voice when he says, "I see dead people." When you hear those DJ Mustard horns, that crowd goes insane. Look, I like a lot of records, but I don't know the last time I heard a song where I wanted the artist to sing it 6 times in a row. Yeah, I heard an encore or two, but 6 times in a row? The crowd is singing it word for word. And let's just take a moment to appreciate the crowd that is locked in with Kendrick, because now that I think about it, when he was performing Euphoria, he had the audience singing, "We don't want to hear you say nigga no more. We don't want to hear you say nigga no more." They're talking to Drake. If I'm Drake and I'm at my house, I'm firing all of my friends. And everybody who got a BBL got to get out my house. Well, man, that means you be kicking Drake out of his own house, but that doesn't matter. 6 times in a row. When he does it the first time, he let the crowd say A minor. He let that note hit a little bit too long. I'm pretty sure there's a lawsuit in Toronto, but unfortunately they're in Compton. Then for the 4th time, Russell Westbrook comes on stage with a bunch of other NBA players like they at the draft, and Russell Westbrook is out there celebrating like he just won a ring. Russell Westbrook did not win a ring this past weekend, okay? He also get people who are somewhat affiliated or could be attached to some gang activity, and they're coming out there from different sets. and they out there alphabet dancing in unison. Look, when you go in certain people's houses and you're invited to, they make you take off your shoes. When you go in other people's houses, they don't care you walk around their shoes. When we saw that Kendrick Lamar pop-up concert, everybody, all of us as a collective had to take off our shoes because Cali was definitely letting you know that these are their rules, this is who they celebrating, and we got to be locked in. You see, when he gathers everybody and he has them take this one big selfie, I'm looking at it, and my man CW, shout out to him, he says, hey, yo, that's going to be the next album cover. But I'm also remembering that they look like the last album cover or 2 albums ago, To Pimp a Butterfly, when all of his homies are in front of the White House, right? And then I'm seeing him out there and I see Big Hit, who's holding on to, I think is his grandson. If you don't know who Big Hit is, he's a rapper that's out, who's been dead some time, but he's also the father of Superboy producer Hit Boy. You most famously know him for producing all of the songs that he did with Nas, and he did Ball So Hard, you know, Niggas in Paris. Well, if I'm looking at that moment, I'm also seeing that that's a father and son relationship and grandson relationship. That got to be another subliminal shot to Drake too, right? Or maybe I'm just reaching. That's not important. See, let me break something down to you. Here's the difference between a pop artist versus an artist. A pop artist wants everybody to be invited, and they want everybody to be along to their song. An artist just makes their song for somebody who hears them, and they entrust into the people who feel them to spread their gospel. But the thing that made that show so important is that that boy Kendrick put culture at the forefront. Culture was leading all of your emotion. Culture was leading all of your attention. Culture was leading all of your entertainment. Culture was at the forefront. And guess who is the culture? We are. Because when we are locked in, we put that nail in and we let you know when you come to our house, you got to take your shoes off because this is a moment. They not like us. And we shouldn't have to be a part of you to be like us. And listen, Drake said it himself. Kendrick said it himself. This is not about back and forth records. And I agree with him. Although a lot of people were saying it was Drake's funeral and Kendrick was doing a victory lap, I'm not going to argue that. Although I do think Drake would be fine, but it's not about what artist that you like the most. It is about the culture and how significant it has been for the past 50-something years. It is about hip hop and with us as people, black people, what we create and what we do and how we control the world and the impact that we have and what we do when we are all united in the forefront. We make you pay attention. And guess what? If you don't want to be a part of that and you don't understand that, that is okay. That is fine. We just know they not like us.